Brother, when you finally stop contacting a woman, when you step back, go silent, and take your energy away, you trigger one of the deepest psychological shifts in her mind. Most men never see it, because they're too busy chasing, texting, checking her stories, and begging for her attention. But when you stop, when you cut the cord, when you disappear from her world, that's when her behavior changes in ways you'd never expect. Some of it is conscious, some of it is subconscious, but every reaction she has reveals the truth about how women are wired. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." When you pull away, you create change, and that change forces her to react. Maybe she becomes curious. Maybe she tests you. Maybe she panics. Maybe she even ignores you harder, hoping you'll fold first. But no matter what, she feels something. And that something is powerful. In this series, I'm going to break down exactly what women do when you stop contacting them, why they do it, and how you should respond if you want to keep your masculine frame intact. This isn't about games. This isn't about revenge. This is about understanding female psychology at its core and using it to stay disciplined, grounded, and unshakable. Subscribe to Masculine Group right now because here we teach men the truth about relationships, power, and self-respect. Now let's get into part 1, where we uncover the very first thing a woman does when you go silent.
1. She tests your silence. The very first thing a woman will do when you stop contacting her is test your silence. This is where most men fail, because they don't understand female psychology. Women are used to being pursued. They are used to men breaking first, folding under pressure, and chasing the moment she pulls back. So when you go silent, she feels that absence immediately. At first, it's not even about missing you, it's about her ego. She wonders, why hasn't he reached out? Did he move on? Does he not care anymore? That uncertainty drives her to test you. She might post something on social media designed to catch your eye. She might send a casual text out of nowhere. Something meaningless like, "Hey," or "Did you see this?" just to see if you'll break. She might even ask mutual friends about you, hoping you'll hear it and respond. And here's where discipline comes in. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Your silence is only powerful if you protect it. If you break at the first test, you've proven her right. She's still in control. But if you hold steady, if you stay silent, if you remain unshaken, that test backfires on her. She starts to realize she doesn't have the control she thought she did. Think of history. When empires held their ground during a siege, the enemy grew restless, desperate, careless. The same principle applies here. By holding your silence during her test, you flip the script. She becomes the one thinking, planning, and chasing. And that's when the power shifts back to you. 2. She tries to trigger your emotions. When silence holds and her first test doesn't work, a woman often escalates. This is when she starts trying to trigger your emotions. Why? Because emotions are the fastest way to break a man's frame. She might post something online that she knows will sting, pictures with other men, captions about moving on, or subtle digs that feel directed at you. She might even ignore you harder, hoping the silence will eat away at you until you break. Sometimes she'll flip the script and act cold or indifferent if you cross paths, just to see if you'll chase her for warmth. Understand this, none of it is random. These are pressure points designed to make you fold. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." That freedom comes from mastering your emotions instead of letting them control you. When she tries to provoke you, it's not a signal to react, it's a signal to hold the line. Because the moment you snap, chase, or show frustration, you've proven she still controls your state of mind. Look at history. Powerful leaders were often tested, not in moments of war, but in moments of restraint. A single outburst, a single impulsive decision could topple their empire. The same rule applies to you. If she posts something to make you jealous, let her. If she acts cold, let her. Your strength isn't in reacting. It's in showing her she no longer dictates your emotions. The man who cannot be provoked is the man who cannot be controlled. And when you hold that frame, her tactics stop working, and the power of your silence grows even stronger. 3. She becomes curious about your life. After her tests and emotional triggers fail, curiosity begins to take over. Silence creates a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. When you stop feeding her updates, attention, and validation, she starts to wonder what's going on in your world. Who are you spending time with? What's keeping you busy? Why aren't you reaching out the way you used to? This curiosity often shows up in subtle ways. She might watch every story you post, even though she doesn't message. She might ask mutual friends about you. She might accidentally like an old photo of yours just to get your attention. Understand this. Curiosity is a powerful force in female psychology because it's tied directly to uncertainty. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you stop contacting her, her thoughts begin to dye her emotions. She imagines scenarios, she fills in blanks, and often, the pictures she paints in her mind are far more powerful than anything you could have told her directly. Think of history. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, his enemies weren't shaken because of what he said. They were shaken because of what they didn't know. Uncertainty breeds fear, desire, and attention. The mistake most men make here is ruining the mystery by breaking silence too soon. They feel her curiosity building and think, "Now's my chance." But true power comes from letting her curiosity work in your favor. The more she wonders, the more she thinks. And the more she thinks, the more you occupy her mind without lifting a finger. 4. She starts to feel your absence. At first, your silence is just unusual, then it becomes noticeable, but eventually, it becomes felt. This is the stage where she doesn't just wonder why you've gone quiet, she starts to actually feel the weight of your absence. Human beings by nature don't value what's always available, but the moment something or someone is gone, the value of that presence skyrockets. Epictetus once said, "You become what you give your attention to." And when you stop giving her your attention, she is forced to feel the emptiness where your presence once lived. It may hit her at random moments, when she scrolls her phone late at night, when she remembers an inside joke, or when she sees something that reminds her of you. That absence lingers, and it quietly chips away at her indifference. Think of history. When great leaders died, their people often only realized their full worth after they were gone. The silence of their leadership echoed louder than their words ever had. The same is true here. By stepping back, you force her to evaluate what your presence actually meant. Most men ruin this stage by rushing back the moment she shows a sign of weakness. They can't handle being missed without trying to cash in on it immediately. But the strong man understands this is where his silence has the most impact. Her emotions grow heavier, her thoughts run deeper, and she starts to realize that losing your presence isn't as easy as she once believed. And the longer you hold your ground, the louder that absence speaks. 5. She may try to provoke a response. Once your absence has been felt, some women will escalate. This is when she might do something designed to elicit a reaction, a subtle post online, a hint of flirtation, or even a message that tests your emotional state. Why? Because she wants to see if you're still available, if you're still vulnerable, if she still holds power over your mind. Seneca said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." When you give in to these provocations, you reveal that your frame is not anchored. You allow her to steer your emotions. But the disciplined man recognizes this for what it is, a test of control. She's not trying to communicate genuine desire yet. She's probing the boundaries you've established. History illustrates the same principle. When generals faced spies or provocateurs, the wisest ones never reacted impulsively. Every action was measured, every response deliberate. The moment they acted out of emotion, their enemies gained leverage. In the same way, your reaction, or lack thereof, is your measure of strength. If she sees that your silence cannot be broken by petty triggers, she begins to respect your frame, whether she admits it or not. The mistake men make is responding too quickly, too emotionally, too eagerly. Every response diminishes the power of your absence. True control means letting her provocations pass like wind over steel, unnoticed, unshaken, unbroken. This is where you solidify your masculine authority and make her realize that you are no longer hers to pull at will. 6. She re-evaluates her feelings. After curiosity, absence, and failed provocations, she enters a stage of reflection. This is when a woman starts to re-evaluate her feelings toward you. She begins asking herself questions she ignored before. Did I take him for granted? Did I really value him? Could I find someone like him again? The silence you've maintained forces her to confront her own emotions and intentions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." When you step back, her thoughts are the only things filling the void you've created. And those thoughts aren't always easy for her. They often carry guilt, desire, or frustration. History offers a clear parallel. When kingdoms withdrew troops during tense negotiations, allies often reconsidered their positions, realizing the value of support they had once dismissed. Likewise, your absence is a form of negotiation with her mind. She's weighing what she truly wants against the reality of your independence. The mistake men make is breaking silence at the first sign of her reconsideration. They think a hint of longing is proof of devotion, so they rush back, destroying the very psychology that brought her reflection. The strong man waits, evaluates, and allows her reevaluation to continue until her actions, consistent and intentional, match the value you've already set in your frame. This is where real power lies. Not in reacting, not in chasing, but in observing and maintaining the discipline that ensures she only earns your presence through effort, not curiosity.
7. She either commits or reveals her truth. Finally, after tests, curiosity, provocation, and reflection, a woman reaches a decision, or her true intentions are revealed. This is the stage where silence either brings her closer or confirms what you already suspected. If she values you, if she truly desires connection, she will act. She will reach out with effort, consistency, and intent. But if she doesn't, her absence, disinterest, or half-hearted messages will make the truth undeniable. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." You have defined your worth through discipline, frame, and restraint. Now her actions either align with that standard, or they don't. History shows us the power of revealing true intentions through patience. When leaders withheld engagement until the other party proved themselves, the weak revealed weakness, and the strong revealed loyalty and value. The same applies here. If she cannot commit, her messages, her curiosity, and her provocations are meaningless. And if she does commit, it's only because you've created the environment where genuine effort is required. The mistake men make is jumping to conclusions too early, assuming a message or reaction equals devotion. True power comes from seeing her for who she really is and responding only in alignment with your frame. Silence exposes the truth. Silence demands effort. Silence tests intentions. And a man who maintains it until clarity is revealed never loses, because either way he gains understanding, respect, and control.
Brother, now you understand the ultimate power of stopping contact. When you withdraw, you don't just create space. You force her mind, her emotions, and her intentions to surface. She tests your silence, triggers your emotions, grows curious, feels your absence, and eventually either commits or reveals her truth. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." In this case, your silence is not revenge, it's clarity. It's a measure of your discipline, your frame, and your masculine strength. The mistake weak men make is reacting too early, chasing her curiosity, or responding to provocations. The strong man waits, observes, and maintains control. History proves that power belongs to those who stand firm, not those who bend to whim or impulse. Your presence is valuable. Your attention is earned. Your silence is your tool. And when used correctly, it reveals more than words ever could. This is the masculine group. Subscribe now, because here we teach men to master themselves first, to understand female psychology second, and to never trade their frame for a text, a call, or temporary validation. Remember this final truth. The man who can disappear and remain unshaken is the man who cannot be ignored, and the man who cannot be ignored commands respect, attention, and control. Hold your silence, hold your frame, and let her actions show you who she really is.